This is episode 27 of onefjef.
27 shows up in surprising places. It mirrors the moon's roughly 27-day sidereal cycle. It's tied to the 27 Club, the cluster of iconic musicians and artists like Hendrix, Joplin, Morrison, Cobain and Winehouse who died at that age. And in numerology, it reduces to 9, the number associated with endings, perspective, and the shift that happens when something important has run its course.
Hola, mis amigos. How are you? I hope you're thriving. It's December 3rd. I'm sitting on Patricia's rooftop patio in the beautiful Condesa neighborhood of Mexico City. Tomorrow I turn 52 years old, and I'm not quite sure what to do with that information, aside from just to accept it. 52 has been a good year for me, though, in spite of my unemployment, or perhaps because of my unemployment. Well, that guy's really vacuuming. Hope they're sucking it all up, whatever it is. Sucking up all the physical debris and the mental debris. I could use a mental vacuum. What is that? Is there a place you can go to get like a mental vacuum to suck out all the mental debris that kind of accumulated over the last year? There's not a lot, but there's some. And as my birthday approaches, I feel like it starts to like coagulate. Anyway, I don't have an episode planned for this week. There's many reasons for this, none of which I really care to go into at this point, but I am going to just wing it, I guess. No. But here's what I'll do. I'll turn it around. I do have an episode planned for this week, and that episode is going to be fantastic. It may not be long, and it may be somewhat random, but it's going to blow your socks off. And that's a phrase you don't hear used very often. Blow your socks off. Is that actually a phrase, or is it blow your shoes off? I'm at LAX, as you can hear by the background noise, and I'm sure you'll hear an announcement at some point. I've been here for about 3.5 hours now, and my flight leaves in about an hour and a half, I think, maybe 2 hours. Mark Newman, you better get out there. What an exciting podcast this is turning out to be. But it's on location. People always like that. Oh, there's one of those golf carts behind me, right, going behind me. When I lived in London in my 20s, I was leaving London for my final time, and I'd bought the plane ticket at some like student travel agency in central London. And then I, got the papers from them, which I assume was the ticket. And I took the train all the way out to Heathrow, which it's like a 45-minute, 50-minute train ride from central London to Heathrow. And I get to the airport with all of my luggage, which was a lot because I'd been there for like 7 or 8 months. And I get to the counter, and they tell me I don't have a ticket. It's just like a receipt or something. So I'm like, frig, dag nabbit. So I hightailed it back to central London, got the ticket as quickly as possible, got in a taxi, hightailed it back to the airport. And then when I got to the airport, I was like barely on time. And they put me in one of those golf carts with the swirling, the light on top. And it just like jetted me through the airport to the gate. Like they were holding the gate door for me. And everybody was glaring at me as I got on the plane. But I made it home. And it was very exciting. And I felt very important. At least until I went and sat in my coach seat in the back. So many noises in an airport. I left from Terminal 1 in San Francisco, which is the Harvey Milk Terminal. Maybe it's Terminal 3. I don't know. But that is one of the nicest airport terminals I've ever experienced in my life. It's like called a quiet terminal, so there's not a lot of announcements. So unless you're actually at the gate that the announcement is supposed to be directed at, you don't hear it. There's many other things that are nice, too. There's like a yoga room.
USO is currently open to active duty military, their dependents, reservists, and retirees with a valid Department of Defense identification card.
Yep. They also have ambient water. You know how they have like the water things to fill your water bottles? Usually it's just like the one. It's just like cold water near the fountain. But at this terminal in San Francisco, they have hot water, I guess if you want tea or something, which is nice. And they have cold water, and then they have what's called ambient water, which confused me quite a bit at first. The terminology, that is. Well, it's just room temperature water. But it's a fancy word for room temperature. And I guess you don't want to use the word tepid, because that has a negative sound to it. Ambient has a much more mellow San Francisco vibe to it. What else? Nothing else. I think I'm going to head to my gate and then find a place to sit and stare off into space. Hello, I'm in Mexico City. I'm on the roof of Patricia's apartment building. There's like a 3-story spiral staircase to get up here. And, we're also at like 8,000 feet here. So I'm out of breath because I just kind of ran up the stairs. Give me a second. Hello from Mexico City. Condesa, to be specific. It's an incredibly charming neighborhood. Like, there's just trees and tree-lined paths and streets and beautiful little bars and restaurants, people sitting outside eating, and it's just really amazing. I really like it here. So yesterday, Sunday, Patricia suggested we go to this flea market that she liked. It's like a market, but it's a flea market, if there's any other way to put it. I forget what it's called. Let me look it up.
Tianguis de Comonfort in Mexico City is the sprawling Sunday market attached to La Lagunilla, a maze of antiques, vintage clothes, vinyl, oddball treasures, and street food that hits you the second you turn the corner. Vendors shouting, music blasting, everyone bargaining. And tucked among the stalls you'll find the real treat: giant beers served in plastic cups with salty, spicy chili powder coating the rim. The perfect thing to sip while you wander through the beautiful mess.
Every Sunday here in Mexico City, they have, I forget the name of it, it's called like Muévete and Bici, which essentially means that they open a handful of streets, or they close them to car traffic and open them just to bike traffic. And I was a little leery because I had just gotten here and I was concerned about the elevation and all that, but I was also like, fuck it. If I can't breathe, I'll just stop biking. But it was super fun. We biked down like the main boulevard, which went right by like the area that I was staying the last time I was here, and all these monuments and fountains and stuff. It was super fun. And went to the flea market, which was cool. It's like a flea market. Guy has like a ton of mirrors. Guy has a ton of dolls. Guy has a ton of his like art stuff, his photos, whatever. Person selling their homemade soap. You get the idea. But at this one, there's a lot of these places that serve these beers with, they put different things on the rim of the beer. So it's like, I don't know, salt or sugar, or like one of them was sunflower seeds. Didn't do that one. I wish I knew the name of that. I've really failed in coming up with some information.
It's called a Michelada, Jeff.
I don't know what we got on ours. There was 2 red substances on mine. Quite a bit of it. We got big ones. And Patricia ordered them, so this is on her. They pour a whole 40-ouncer in these giant cups, these plastic cups. Then it was super fun, the flea market. We just kind of wandered around laughing and trying on sunglasses and hats. And Patricia bought some homemade soap, of course, and some like homemade salsa pepper kind of thing. It was a really fun day. It's a thing I never would have even known about had I not been here with Patricia, which is one of the things I like so much about her, is that she's just like really wants to show me all the cool things in the city, and does. Like, I've seen so many cool things. When I was here before, we went to this restaurant. It's right off of this square that's like the Mariachi square. And this entire square is full of just mariachi bands that you can literally just pay some money and hire them and take them home with you. You can take them home for a weekend if you want. I would not want to take a mariachi band home with me for a weekend, But some people would, and some people do. So there's a restaurant, of course, off of this square where there's like 5, 6, 7, 8 mariachi bands playing at the same time. And yeah, it's as chaotic as it sounds. So one band's playing one song, one little band's playing another song, there's another band playing one over there. I'll be honest, I loved it. But I can understand how it may trigger some people. I'll post some videos of that on the Patreon page, which is at patreon.com/onefjef. And I think I'm releasing this on my birthday, so what better birthday gift to give to your favorite podcast host than a new subscription, or perhaps you just up your current subscription just a little bit as a little birthday present to me. And I'll put all sorts of pictures of Mexico in there for you. I like the horns in the mariachi bands. A lot of people don't care for mariachi music. I have my limit, but in smaller doses, I really do enjoy it. And again, I really think it's the horns. Something about the horns gets me. It's like the band Beirut. It's the horns, you know? It's a powerful sound. It gives me chills. And while we're there, this guy, it's another Mexican thing, this guy walks around with this bird cage with like a little parakeet or something in there. And like you give him a little money, and the parakeet, he opens the little cage door, and the parakeet pulls out a little like fortune out of this box. This bird has no idea what it's doing. But the parakeet pulls the little fortune out, and then he gives it to you, and you give the fortune, and then you read the fortune, and I forget what my fortune was. I have a picture of it. I'll put that in the Patreon too. It's weird. The parakeet seemed perfectly happy to be doing this. It seemed to think, I have a purpose in this life. And that purpose, as confusing as it may be to me, seems to make these human people happy. So there's a lot of unique sounds here in Mexico City that I'd love to record. And I did just take a long walk around Condesa with the intention of recording some of them, but I start to feel so awkward and standoutish. You know, you're carrying a giant microphone and a recorder around, and you're a gringo too. And there's a lot of like somewhat anti-gringo sentiment going around Mexico City these days because there's a lot of gringos moving here. On my walk, I saw some graffiti that said, "No gringos." And I stand out as a gringo. As Patricia has told me, she said a couple nights ago, she said, "You are very white and pink." We were sitting in this cafe, the two of us, and then like a big group of like clearly Americans came in and sat at the table next to us. Patricia looked at me and she's like, "Don't you, like, I don't know what she said, like something about Americans being loud." And it's totally true. Americans are loud. And it was kind of, I'll say it, embarrassing and annoying to be sitting there, this loud group of Americans. I'm not saying I'm not annoying, but when you see groups of Americans in foreign countries outside of their home thing, it makes them look worse. You see the stereotypes right there. They're right in your face. I worked in a bed and breakfast in London many years ago. I worked behind the front desk, and the people who were the worst and the hardest to deal with were the French and the Americans. The French were generally, yes, rude. Absolutely rude. Not because you're expecting them to be rude, because I didn't sometimes even know they were French until they started speaking. But yes, rude. And the Americans, entitled. "Why is there no bathroom in my room?" "Well, sir, if you'd like a bathroom, you can go down and stay at the Holiday Inn down the street. It'll cost you 3 times as much, but you're welcome to go down there and stay there." It wasn't that they were mean, though. The Americans were always nice. They just felt like there should be a bathroom. Why are the rooms so small? You know, whereas the French were just like, "Oh, everything is stupid." You know, très stupide, whatever. Oh, he's vacuuming again. That's my cue to wrap it up. All right. Again soon. That was the sound of the Camote man, or the sweet potato man. This guy wanders around at night with a pressure steamer, like a wheeled pressure steamer cart, when he opens this valve to release the pressure, it makes that crazy whistling sound. You can hear it for like a long way away, so it works out, you know, where to get your sweet potatoes. And he just sells sweet potatoes, like steamed sweet potatoes out of that cart. Bananas too, apparently. And maybe a few other things, but mostly sweet potatoes. The first time I was here in Mexico City and I heard that, I was with Patricia, and I was like, what in God's name is that noise? Because it's not a pleasant sound. Because it's not a pleasant sound. It's a shrill, high-pitched whistle. And then Patricia told me it was the Camote man. And I was even more confused, frankly. But during this visit, I decided I'm going to get one of these sweet potatoes to see what all this fuss is about. And last night, we were in Parque México here in Condesa, and I heard the sound, the cry of the sweet potato, if you will. And I followed that cry until I found him. The sweet potato was good, not great. Patricia tells me that the bananas he sells are better. Maybe I'll try that next time. What do you have? Oh, she's drinking. Wow. Huh. All right.
Yeah.
I hope you're done with your work. All right, slam that before we start the interview, then we can.
Yeah.
Hola, Patricia. ¿Cómo está?
Bien.
¿Estás?
I am fine. And you? Más o menos?
Très bien. Très
Más o
bien. Très bien.
menos.
Más o menos. No, it's my birthday. It's my cumpleaños. It's mi cumpleaños.
Muy bien.
Muy bien, porque es mi cumpleaños. ¿Cumpleaños? ¿Sí?
Sí.
Sí. How's my Spanish? Is it good?
More or less. But you can improve.
It's better than it was the last time, though.
Let's see if you compare with that. Yes.
Oh, all right. I mean, it was bad last time, but it's
Making progress.
How do you think you're a good maestra?
But no, I am not a good teacher for
Okay,
like
well, at least this week.
Spanish.
You
It's
are
true.
sometimes, but other times, yeah. Your English is getting much better, though.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's talk about the tongue tacos. Yesterday, Patricia said she wanted to take me to have these tacos. It's like a taco stand that just focused, I guess, on the head of the animal. Beef head, the cow head. So yeah, it had all the different parts from the head. I'm not sure if there was a nose or whatever.
Yes.
But
Well, nose, I'm not sure.
yeah, I don't think anybody wants the nose.
But yeah, the brain
Yeah, we didn't have any brain, I don't
and
think.
eyes,
Oof, yeah, no.
ear,
Yeah, what's your favorite part of
Cheek.
the cow head? Is there a favorite part for you?
cheeks. I am not like an.
You're
Like
not-
I am
not a
like a
big-
very normal person
Right.
in head tacos.
Not big on the head.
Yes, I am, but not the normal parts, not the very.
See,
I don't like the brain or eye.
yeah, I don't want to do that. Did they chop up the eye, or is it just like looking right at you in the taco, in the tortilla?
No, because it's not the eye. It's like just the
Oh,
nerve.
okay. So you don't have like a taco with like eyes staring at you.
No,
No, yeah, that'd be
you
terrifying.
cannot eat that part.
Right, but the tongue that you gave me was literally just a tortilla with just a tongue just sitting right there. No questions
they
about what
cook
that
it
was. Yeah,
about-
I believe that they cook it, but it was really just, it was shocking because
It's because in Mexico City they do it that way, but in other parts they chop it.
that
so
would be
yeah, it
helpful if
can
they
be-
chopped it. Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't realize even if you are like
Yeah.
eating like eye tacos.
Yeah, that would have been
Because-
helpful for me.
I think in the other one that was mixed, you have a little bit of everything, but you didn't realize which part you was eating.
Yeah. As an American, as a United States citizen, we like to make our meat look as different from the animal it came from as possible.
What is the difference between an U.S. citizen?
I just don't want to say American because that feels offensive because, this is all America, right? So what am I supposed to say? You don't
I
know.
don't know,
See?
but yeah, it's just.
I don't want to say
strange.
as an American because you're an American too, right? Technically, yeah. So there's no winning in that one. But anyway, yeah, I took a bite of the tongue, and yeah, not my favorite thing.
I think it were not the best
Not the
tongue
best tongue.
tacos.
No.
You can try again.
No.
And
Well,
even if
I don't
we
know
find machitos,
what's machitos?
the balls of the cow.
Oh, I don't want to. No, absolutely not. I'm not eating testicles. Have you eaten those?
No, but what do you prefer? To eat that or to eat crickets?
I'd absolutely eat cricket over testicles. Yeah.
Or do you prefer to eat like frog or a snake?
I would eat a frog over testicles.
A
It
snake?
would take a lot. A snake, I would eat that over testicles.
Rat?
Yeah, probably that as well over
Rat?
testicles. Over testicles? Yeah, I don't want to eat
Is
cow
that rat
balls.
is disgusting?
Okay, I mean, you would eat
You
testicles.
don't know? Yes, for sure. With all the options that I said before, yes.
You'd go with the testicles.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'd like to know how they are.
But also you don't know what you are eating.
Well,
so
you know, they're
don't know what
testicles.
they are.
Yeah.
No, but if you are trying those and it's like you don't see it's like you don't see the eye. You
Right,
don't
if it
see
was
the
chopped
cow.
up, right,
You don't realize
right.
what you are eating.
Yeah, I don't want to see a taco like a tortilla with just two big
But
balls.
it's better
probably.
to eat any part of the cow than a rat.
I don't know. I really, it would be tough. I don't know.
What do you prefer, the like the chicken legs that we saw?
Like the chicken feet?
Uh-huh.
I don't know, maybe.
With the nails.
Well, I don't think you eat the nails,
Yes.
do you?
And sometimes they do it with salsa picante.
I would hope so. Yeah,
And
you got to add
with
salsa.
lemon and salt.
Yeah, you got to
Like
add.
the mango, but with chicken feet.
Yeah, I think you would
What
put
do you
that on.
prefer?
What?
Chicken
Mango
feet?
over chicken feet? Oh, mango,
Chicken
of
feet
course.
or machitos.
The balls?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, chicken feet, yeah. Yeah.
Whack.
I mean, you'd really have to spice the balls up a lot and make them look as little. If they didn't look like testicles at all.
You never have tried it, so
Either
you don't
have
know.
you. Either
But
have you.
But is it texture? The texture is different.
It's the knowledge of what I'm eating that's the problem.
Well, no. We think different.
But if we're talking about a penis, that would be a whole
so
different game.
every time that
Absolutely
you
not.
are eating chicken, you are imagining the chicken.
What do you mean, imagine?
So yeah, it's like sometimes it's more about the texture than the taste, rather than what it specifically is.
Okay, how about you? Would you eat a duck vagina?
No,
See?
because I don't love dogs.
Okay, how about a cow vagina?
They don't have. It's not that you
But if
eat
they
the
did, but if
vagina.
they, but some places do.
No,
They eat duck
where?
vaginas in China.
Tell me.
They sell duck vaginas in
It's
Chinatown.
not-
They absolutely do.
Show me.
I mean, I can't do it right now, but next time I come, I'll bring some duck vaginas. I think they might take them in customs, but
Okay.
yeah. This is what I'm saying. It's not about, it's about, genitalia.
And also
I
that
don't
will
wanna
be
eat
a
genit-
very difficult texture. I don't really.
Yeah, I just don't want to eat genitalia of any animal.
Why
I think
not?
that's just as a policy.
And feet.
Feet's different. It's not
Nails?
genitals. I mean, I'm not going to eat fingernails of an animal, no. But I don't think I don't think it's fingernails.
Yes, it is. I can show you a picture.
All right, well, we'll
In
take
the
a look.
real Mexico, they eat that like a snack.
I would eat squirrel. That actually, I heard squirrel's actually quite tasty.
I know, poor squirrel.
Oh, well, poor every animal. Oh. What the hell was that? Somebody's
know.
here. We're outside right now. We're on the rooftop, just in case anybody's wondering about the noise. All right, well, we got through the tongue tacos. That was good. What else?
You have a series of questions?
I have some
Really?
I have some talking points. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But, speaking of food, Dua Lipa opened a taco restaurant in your neighborhood over the weekend. We did not get the tacos. The line there was always kind of down the street, and I think
You was interested? Today was not queue?
no, I think it's closing today, though, isn't it?
No, no.
Oh no, I
Where
don't.
all
I don't,
the
I don't wanna-
bodyguards?
I
Are
don't
you
care.
interested? We
No.
can go.
No, no. I'd rather go to the place we're actually going to go for my birthday that actually has good tacos as
And
opposed
also
to the-
Dua Lipa went.
Wait,
That's
where
why
Dua
you
Lipa
are
went?
more interested
Not
in
at all.
go.
I wanted to go before Dua Lipa went. So we're going to this.
But
for-
now
wait,
that
wait,
it
wait.
becomes even more popular,
So
why
for
not?
so I know now we're gonna have to wait in line for an hour and a half. So this taco place that I loved the last time I was here called Tacos del Valle, that I've been to twice. It was incredible, and now since I've been there, it got Michelin listed. And then Dua Lipa went there like 2 days ago. So now we're going to go there for my birthday, and it's going to be a line
But the
down the street.
Michelin listed in Mexico, I have serious questions about that.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, do you want to go
No,
into
it's
that?
not a guarantee. Don't think so. I think it's part of that is a really good PR.
Well, sure, there's some of that, but I think that honestly,
But I think that every time becomes more a PR thing. Yes, are good places, but also are like a very PR places.
yeah, I do wonder what kind of money gets passed around in terms of getting that Michelin listing or stars. You
Because
wonder.
now also many of the new places that haven't been for more than 3 years are Michelin stars, and others that has been recognized for years being good are not. And the most
Right.
of them are like a gentrified tacos. So yes, are good.
Gentrified
but,
tacos. She means gringo tacos. That's what she means. You can say.
But the gentrified tacos is not only about gringo. There are
Oh, right. Every kind of foreigner taco. Yeah. Well, you can
but
decide
gringos
tonight.
are the people that are mainly here in Mexico City
Right.
because we are neighbors. It's normal.
Well, you can decide tonight when you try the tacos at Tacos del Valle whether they are gentrified tacos or actually good tacos.
No, can be good, but doesn't mean that are not gentrified.
You're gonna love them. They're delicious. They're incredible. They're so good. Well, I will say what you said the other day about Mexican food is that they do use the entire animal, which is a thing that I don't think we generally do in the United States. I know that they probably use a lot of the parts to make like dog food and stuff that we don't eat. Like, I imagine the tongue goes into dog food. Or
We need to to import tongues
oh, you do have to get those tongues imported.
because there are not enough tongues.
Right.
For the consumption.
You have to put a tariff on those. Yeah, so you can
I can
fight
say
Trump's
that
tongue tariffs.
import tongues and import corn to
Mhm.
make tortillas is
Right.
a very interesting fact.
I think we get a lot of corn from you guys, though.
I think we buy corn to make tortillas
Huh.
also. There is like a trade depending of the kind of corn, but the corn even for the every time that they negotiate the trade agreement
Right.
is the corn makes a topic point.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the characteristic of Mexican culture?
Like I've said many times, I feel like Mexican people it's one of the friendliest places I've ever been. And it's not just because you read that on the internet. It's because, like, I just don't get bad vibes from people here. Although I did see that sign that said gringos, no gringos, and that made me feel a little bit bad because I'm very pink and white, as you said yesterday.
This is true.
It's an interesting description that you said you are more pink and white than I am. That's what you said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Patricia's
And
not.
more I am more tan.
You are. Patricia's 10. She spent like 3 months in Tulum, so she's very tan. She's very happy about being tan. And I am pink and white and 52. What is your impression of American culture?
Very competitive.
Mm-hmm. Hallelujah. Yeah, that's true.
Consumerist.
Consumerist, yeah.
Mhm.
Buy too much stuff. Mexico's not really consumerist, I guess. Not as much.
Different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you liking having me here? Has it been a pain in your ass?
No.
Mm. That's all she's going to say. She's just going to look at me and smile and say, nope.
But you are enjoying, no?
See? See?
Mm.
Muy emocionado about the pastel.
El pastel.
See? Yeah. How about
I
that? How
almost
about that
forget
for
about that.
for some Spanish, huh? Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else to say, Patricia, before I actually finish this podcast and release it on my birthday?
No.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Do you want to say it?
What has been your best memory of birthday since you was kid until now?
When I was in my early 50s, I decided I'm just going to go to Mexico. I had met this woman earlier that year in Mexico when I was in Mexico City, and we were still in touch, and I wanted to see her again. So I thought, well, I'll just go there for my birthday. And that was super fun, especially at night when she put on this fireworks display for me. And then there was like an elephant parade, and then we ate cow dicks for dessert.
Cow dicks?
Cow penises.
Ah.
Your dick is what you say for penis, yeah.
Yeah.
with a lot of salsa on them. You got to put a lot of salsa on those cow
And the
dicks.
elephants were where were coming from?
Just a parade. I don't. That's up for you to figure out where those are coming from. That's you have to get that parade
Asia,
wherever.
Africa.
Wherever. I don't care. You got a zoo. I've always wanted an elephant parade for my birthday. I should have
So
told
you
you
need
that
to go
before you
to Asia then.
came. Anything else that Jeff wants to ask?
Tick tock, tick tock.
I'm just thinking that I have to edit this too. What do we got? Yeah, this is plenty of content. Oh, and
Yeah.
the drill's starting, so it's a good time to stop. Patricia, thank you for coming on the podcast once again, now that we have a power drill in the background.
Thank you. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. You can say it in Spanish. You say it in Spanish too.
Feliz cumpleaños.
Gracias. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Patrons page.
One more.
Is Patreon or Pages? I forget.
Patreon.
Patreon.
Patreon, yeah. Subscribe to the Patreon page. $5. How many pesos is
It's
that?
so easy. Only $5 per month. You can spend it in a coffee.
All right, there we go.
Bye.
Bueno. And that's it for this week. In spite of the randomness and relative lack of content, I think this episode turned out rather well, don't you? Before you answer, remember, it's my birthday. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with someone else who you think might also enjoy it. Someone who likes mariachi music, maybe? Or tongue tacos? Or sweet potatoes? In my Spotify recap, it said that onefjef was shared more than 96% of other podcasts, which is amazing. So thank you to those of you who contributed to that statistic. Please keep doing it. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts or whatever platform you listen on. But ideally, Apple Podcasts, because that's the platform that most of you listen on, and their algorithm likes subscribers, especially new ones. As I said earlier, if you're looking for a birthday gift for me, please consider subscribing to the Patreon page at patreon.com/onefjef. And if you do subscribe, please do it through the Patreon website, not through the iPhone app, because Apple takes a 30% cut from donations made through the app. And I think we all know that Apple has plenty of money. Patreon.com/onefjef. Thank you. If you have any questions or comments or concerns or photos to share, you can email the podcast at onefjefpod@gmail.com. Nudes are allowed but not encouraged. If you are on the Instagram app, please follow the podcast on the Instagram app at onefjefpod. I'll be doing some more weird stuff with that account soon, so you'll want to be there for that. onefjefpod on Instagram. Finally, you guys are the best. For real. I've been making this podcast for about 7 months now. And it's a great birthday gift to know that I've managed to build such an attractive and intelligent audience. So thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. And thank you for sticking around to see what happens next. I'm as curious as you are.
Very good, Jeffrey.